and it looks like it's 6:05.
No, 6:02.
6:02. All right, I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right. Susan, would you like to?
Yep. Stuzinski,
Present.
Layton,
Present.
Garland, Reardon, LaRose, present, Walsh,
Present.
Andres.
Here. All right. Is there any conflict of interest that anyone is aware of? Okay. And then, can we do an approval of the agenda?
We did have one addition we should add under
Okay.
item 9, business before the Park Commission. Item E is the TART agreement for snow plowing.
All right.
Make a motion to add to number 9, business before the Park Commission. E, TART.
TART Trail Maintenance
Trail
Agreement.
Maintenance
There we
Plan,
go.
thanks. Tuesday, January 17th.
Can I get a support? Okay. All right. I think that's all for the agenda.
You just need a vote on that.
Okay. So I guess I need to do a roll call vote.
No, you can just ask all those in favor and just do a voice.
All right. Can I get all in favor for the approval of the agenda for Tuesday, January 17, 2023?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda was approved. Oh, I didn't say nays.
It's okay.
I'm learning. Okay, yeah. All right, is there any public comment at this time? All right, no public comment. Can I get an approval of the minutes from December 19th, 2022? If you all want to just take a look at those and,
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from December 19th of 2022.
Second.
all right. I don't have to do anything else.
Just
Or, another,
asked for a vote. All those in
Okay.
favor?
all right. All in favor for the approval of the minutes from December 19th, 2022?
Aye.
Say
Aye.
any nays? All right. The approval of the minutes for December 19th, 2022 were approved. Is there any correspondence? I don't believe so.
It's added to the agenda.
Yeah, okay. All right, reports. Can we get a treasurer's report?
Yes, we, pages 3, 4, all updated. I talked to Beth, there's 2 accounts overdrawn, $590 and $32. They're negligible. Don't worry about them. She did CC you on that email, Zach. You have that too.
Okay,
Other than that, nothing else to go over.
all right. Subcommittee report, community garden. You have anything, Susan?
No, we haven't met yet for this
Okay.
month, and I'm waiting to hear from Elise
Okay,
for that.
When's your next schedule?
It should be tomorrow, but I need to reach out to her to see what's going on, so.
And this wasn't at the subcommittee, but I know at last month's meeting, you were talking about the community garden. So Elise, Tim and I and Beth met and kind of talked about what happened at the last meeting, and we're working on what that, kind of a follow-up survey that was discussed at the last Parks Commission meeting to go out to the people that participated in the first survey.
So is that going to happen then? Because that was my question.
Yeah, that's what, we're working through the questions right now on that, to get it laid out.
Okay, when did you guys meet?
I don't recall, after your meeting, before this meeting, in the last month, I know. It must have been in January, after the holidays. So we just met really quick, because Elise wasn't at the meeting and I wasn't there, and so just to kind of get both of us up to speed on it, and talked about that survey.
Okay, she knows more than I do.
But I think for, that component of it, because that was done at the Parks Commission level, I don't know if that'll kind of stay up here, or if that'll end up back at the subcommittee, or if this commission has a preference. I think that was a discussion that the Parks Commission kind of had, and so you're looking for a answer.
Okay, so the survey then, the three of you, then you guys came up with what the survey questions were going to be, or is that going to go back to the subcommittee like it did on the
I don't,
first
I
bout?
don't know that right now.
Okay,
Another survey?
yes. That's what I say.
It was a follow-up survey to those who responded to the initial survey, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it was regarding, though.
Well, it had to be with, some of the materials and priorities and,
Specific use, kind of.
yeah.
And, like, weren't we discussing like a different phase levels or something too? Okay.
Yeah, what might be a part of phase one or phase two, and then how much, some of the discussion at the meeting even was what type of materials. So, you were talking about the walkways, should they be crushed limestone or asphalt? I don't know if it'll get into that much detail. I haven't,
At the
seen
subcommittee,
it.
we've already discussed all those,
Yeah, but at the Parks Commission meeting, that was a topic of the discussion, trying to manage costs, I think,
we were
so.
Right.
ultimately trying to get the same concept with the phases and then potentially substitute materials to help lower the cost to get the
Right.
same result.
Trying to narrow the cost down to something more reasonable.
Although, in the end of that conversation or the meeting, that the supervisor did say, for that spark, they start at a minimum of 1 mil, so at that point, then,
1 mil is the max.
I mean, the one, okay.
They start at 100,000.
Okay, so 100,000. So, I think if you, she did specify, if we do go for the Sparks, which I'm not sure if we are or not, but we should go big, because really, why do you? So I think that's the biggest
There's
conversation
two more
right now.
application windows.
I think that'd be
is
my best strategy
To
too.
put a community garden in with the first plan that we had with the high dollar amount, or go in with just, back to where we were in 2018, so to speak, with a couple steps up, with a way less cost, will you still get the draw? So I think that's where we're pivoting, and that's probably why they want to do a second survey for that community garden.
I think I
Okay.
agree with the cost too, right? Like, that was Ryan's big thing last time, was that they
Yeah,
said yes at the
like it-
initial, but would they say yes if they knew the price?
Like if I went to the East Bay, to a typical East Bay Township resident and said, we're going to build this $1 million garden, I don't know how they would respond to that
Well, this says
necessarily.
394,000.
Phase one.
It's like a 800 something overall.
I mean, it's still within reach with a Spark grant.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just, we want to just make sure, what is the expectations for,
Right.
I mean, there's lots of support, we know that. But, to what extent, I guess.
Yeah, and I think we could also use some of that potentially to, even though we have phase one, it may be if people prioritize and say, we want beds first and we want the pavilion last, or something like that, then we can do like phase 1C. So if we can get a smaller grant and bite-size it too, hopefully that'll help us to set that up. So we have a way to move forward in case the Spark grant doesn't work out, or depending on what we learn with this Spark grant application round for the next round, what's kind of manageable for the state, so.
Do we not have a phase 2?
No, there's a lot of unknowns with the Spark grant
No.
too, so.
There
it's
was not. They just had this part's phase 2 here.
Right.
And that's, I think that's all that's been given out about phase 2. So,
All right, did you have any other,
I don't have any other updates. Well, I guess I can give you a quick update. I met today with Rotary to talk about the seed grant that you approved moving forward with, I think in November or December, now I can't remember. The board adopted a resolution that was for the community planning, community engagement on Holiday Woodlands. So I'm going to try to get an application together for their February round for that component. So that's an update. And then
How much is that?
it's 15,000 total. The grant request is going to be for 10,
Okay.
and the township's responsible for 5. So,
You said that's a Rotary grant?
yeah, their seed grant program.
And you did talk to him?
I thought it went up to.
I talked to him this morning. So, and that was just, you're required to, talk to them and get the lay of the land before the application. So, if I get it all together and applied for February, we should know, I believe by March, if they're ready to move forward with that, which should line up hopefully with our big master planning for the Park and Rec plan overall, and then that kind of more deep dive into Holiday Woodlands over the spring and summer. So,
So your initial meeting was this morning?
yes.
And how many more?
I don't have to, I just have to submit now. Just go
Okay.
through the process of submitting. Claire had previously met with the staff there, but because I was picking up the project, just wanted to touch base with them.
all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving on to business before the Parks Commission. 9A, Aaron Nicoden, Eagle Scout project update.
What's staff? 8C.
Staff was the
That
Seeds
was-
grant update.
Oh, because you're staff.
Yes.
Sarah is staff.
I sent an email to Aaron to let him know he was on the agenda, but I didn't hear back from him.
Okay.
So we'll just move that to our next agenda item.
Okay. Yeah,
Our
I guess
next,
it looks
yeah.
like there's a memo and also some pictures if you
Yeah.
guys
I saw
are
the pictures.
Yep.
interested in taking a look at that.
Is
Looks like-
it done?
It's done, it's
Oh,
installed.
perfect.
Those are pictures he sent over, and so I just did a quick memo, on it. And I know the Parks Commission, when you approved the project, just kind of want him to come back in front of you to finish out the project and give you a quick update on it. So, as his schedule and time allows to come in and, just do that final
It
presentation.
looks
But
really nice.
It does look
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
yeah,
Nice to hear from him, but I mean, if he ends up being too busy or something.
Right.
I believe this is exam week, though, he's probably goes to Central. It's,
It's the last week of the
yeah,
term.
this is exam
Yeah.
week for the high schoolers, so it's probably
Yeah,
why this
probably
was
why.
not a good time for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, no problem. He couldn't make December's meeting, and I told him that I'd let him know when January's was, so I forgot I was gonna tell him that, and so I didn't even let him know until the end of last week when I was doing packets, so, part of it's my, I didn't give him a lot of time to get back with me, so.
Oh. All right, moving on. 9B, Vasa Single Track Trailhead Lease Proposal.
Brian's
Are you-
here.
Okay. I guess, want to start with you going over what you're proposing? It looks like we've all been presented with some information
Yeah,
in the packet.
information that you have in the packet, Sarah, I gave that to her a number of weeks ago. Of course, as you have time to work on something, I added a lot more. So I think I'm up to maybe 90 slides, but I'll try to go through them quickly. I'm just,
I like your kid, right?
just a quick introduction. I'm Brian Pugh, and I'm a retired mechanical engineer, worked at General Motors for 34 years. We've had a cottage on Duck Lake for about 12. 6.5 years ago, I retired, and we're up here full-time, and I love it. And I just can't get myself, to go south of Bay City now. It's just, so we're up here, and this is heaven. Northern Michigan Mountain Bike Association, is everybody familiar with that group? basically a nonprofit mountain biking group, but we also include hiking and really any non-motorized activities. And at the bottom here, you can see there's a Vaza single track, which we're going to talk about today. Palmer Woods is another portion of our thing. It's on Leelanau Peninsula, and it's really more of a technical bike route that has jumps and berms and things like that, so it's quite a bit different than Vaza. We have a Cadillac Pathway. There's a really nice mountain bike path up there. Glacial Hills in Bel Air. There's a beautiful set of single track up there. And then kind of the last 5, 6, 7 years, it's been winter trails. And that's, we'll discuss a lot of this as we go into the presentation. It's a huge, huge and growing activity right now. So I'll go into this, some of the information might be a little premature, but we'll you know, in the package we can explain a little bit more. You know, this whole thing started with, you know, we wanted to enlarge the parking lot at Vaza Single Track. And I've been working with the DNR on this, and come to find out, no surprise, you know, the paperwork involved is unbelievable. It took me 14 months to get one approval set through, and I did it, I'm a world record holder right now. I mean, I had to bug people every week, and I mean, it was, you know, they were all very cooperative, it's just the process is very long. And Scott Slavin is our DNR representative, and he said, you know, we've done this many times in the past where we can lease some property out to, and he said, we really don't want to do it to NIMBA because you're a nonprofit, we're not too sure if you're going to be here in 5 years. We will, but that wasn't really where they wanted to head. He said, if you could find a municipality or government group that wanted to do that, that really is the favorable direction. So that's kind of why we're here today. And kind of the advantages I see, East Bay Township gains a non-motorized trailhead, and it provides access to, the first thing is the Vaza single track. And I don't know if there's any mountain bikers here, but it literally is a crown jewel of single track mountain biking. And right now, it's about currently 20 miles. I'm working with the DNR. That whole land up there is what we call Vaza land. There are, I'm going to say, 150 miles of unmarked single track out there. It's incredible. And it's what we call unmarked, ghost. You know, over the years, people have just kind of ridden their bikes and made these things. What I'm working on now is to add probably 60 more miles to the Vaza single track, so we could have a total of, you know, 80 miles of recognized DNR single track, and the intent is to get from Vaza single track parking lot on Supply Road all the way to Bartlett Road, over near, you know the Bartlett trailhead? Okay.
No, I do, but I need more. It sounds familiar.
Chris, what's the road going up near your brewery?
Bunker Hill Road.
I was saying, I thought it's off of Bunker Hill.
You talk about where the warming hut is and all that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, so that is what I would call, you know, where the skiing happens. Now, people do,
Oh, that's the ski trailhead?
that's the ski trail.
Oh, okay.
Right, the warming hut and you know, and the TART are really the people that manage that section right there. Now, you can go off
That is
bike there.
county property.
Is it? Okay.
So it'd be, you know, the Parks and Rec Commission, the county Parks and Rec
Handles that?
Commission.
Okay.
But John Chase is the director for the Parks Department.
Got it. Okay.
You know, he'd be a good point contact for that.
Oh, okay.
I work in the Parks Department.
Oh,
so-
cool. Oh, okay. Great. So, and also, I think you'll see in the slides that we're really putting together a really attractive trailhead, where we're working really hard to get the trailhead up to the level of the single track that's behind it. It's always been, I mean, it's the worst outhouse I think I've ever seen in my life. There's no other facilities there, so it's been our mission is to really make that much nicer. And so I really think, you know, for East Bay Township, it would be an incredible community gathering spot and event space, and you can see some pictures later on. The other big thing is this winter biking. This Fat Tire thing has just exploded. And it really, I think, comes at a good time in winter, where there, you know, in summer, we're pretty full of, you know, activities, but I think it's really good to find some winter activities. And this is fully groomed. Right now, we have about 15 miles, and again, we tend to get about 35 miles of groomed single track for the winter biking. And there's really no other, I think, spot in Michigan that's going to have such a facility. So that's really exciting. And then, as I explained, there's all of this unmarked single track, 150-plus miles that's back there that, you know, a lot of people don't know about, and, but it's a real resource, so. For inside of trying to get things done and, you know, getting the facilities where we all want them, really having a lease with the township gives us much more flexibility to do the infrastructure, the structures that, you know, that really we want to do out there. And the last item there is the timeline. It's very frustrating working with the DNR on trying to get all this to go through.
I have one question about the unmarked trails and stuff.
Yeah.
How can you guys create, I mean, you as an organization isn't potentially, but don't you have to get that all surveyed and
Right now,
documented with the state?
It doesn't exist.
Ghost.
But you're looking at creating that and expanding that, so you have to
Out
go,
of the 150 miles, I think we'd like to add an additional 60 miles, and so I'm working with the DNR on a
Okay.
trail development proposal to actually make it an official single track,
Okay.
that you'll find signs and wayfinding and everything will be official.
gotcha.
So, and that's, everybody in Traverse City, we're really looking forward to that, you know, because it took me a couple of years when I got up here. I didn't want to go out there because I didn't want to get lost. It really is kind of, you know, a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
So this is really an opportunity. And Scott Slavin and there's a Patrick Kotek, who's the new forester here. They both suggested, Brian, if you're going to do a trail development proposal, let's make it big. And they are the ones that really want to get to Bartlett Road because people want to go from Traverse City on the Tart Trail, go up Bunker Hill, and then they have access to all of this incredible, and what it'll do, it'll take you right down to Vaza single track parking lot, so.
But how does this interfere with the cross-country skiing?
It doesn't. That, about 4 or 5 years ago, I might have the timeline wrong, but it was, this is Chris Cargill. He's the head brewer at Stonehound, and he's a avid mountain biker, so he just came to listen today. So I'll look back, because has much more experience in you know, the single track than I do, but, I'm
So,
sorry.
I guess-
how many miles is it from Supply then to Bartlett on that trail?
Maybe 20 miles,
Okay.
something like that, yeah.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Brian Pugh, P-U-G-H.
And you were going to explain how this cross-country and the biking were separate.
Oh, that's it.
5 years
That's
ago.
where I was. I'm sorry. Sorry. They were sort of on the same path, and the bikes kind of had to stay off the side. It didn't work at all. It was a disaster. So that's kind of when NIMBA stepped up and said, okay, we're going to buy our own snowmobiles and drags and all that, and we're going to do a dedicated snow, you know, fat tire, and it's completely eliminated the problem. Plus, the fat tire route is now so much better. So we completely eliminated that conflict between the two groups.
I had one more thing with the unmarked stuff. I just want to make sure you guys go through the right process of getting that approved, because you're kind of advertising it right now that you are aware of it, you guys utilize it, and you know about it, now you want to use those routes and expand. I just make sure that all
Yeah.
properly gets,
None of it's marked, none of it's advertised until we
Yeah.
go through the trail development proposal
Sure.
with DNR, is
Yeah.
that when you can say we officially have. single
Gotcha.
track, right.
yeah. So I didn't realize people could just make trails through the woods and start riding
Well,
on
they
them,
can't, but they did it anyway.
Exactly.
because people get in trouble for cutting branches and different stuff, and cutting wood and whatnot, so,
And NIMBA as an organization, we're really trying to educate people,
yeah.
don't do that. But that's why if we can make marked single track going out there, you know, people are going to be less apt to then do their own route around
Mhm.
things and things like that. So I think this master plan is really going to help that.
All right.
So, yeah, you're spot on.
Yeah.
On your comments there.
Yeah, because I just know the bigger and bigger this gets, and the more and more people out there, it kind of just can't be a free-for-all.
Right.
And especially if the township's going to be kind of supporting you guys, we want to
Yeah, no, we're-
make sure the rules are being followed.
Totally, yep.
So the Vasa Trailhead's not on this map?
The Vasa Trailhead is there. Can you see, if I can do my pointer? See, right?
Oh, wait.
No, it does not.
The single track is, but the fossil pathway.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Vasa Pathway is the green.
I know, but the trailhead for that's not on here.
Yeah, can you see Supply Road?
Yeah, I'm familiar, I'm very familiar with
Okay.
what we're discussing.
Okay.
Google Map it.
So
I
the,
know where they are.
the TART ski, the ski parking lot, is that what you're referring to, Corey? The one off Bartlett?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's north, that's,
That'd be up here, right?
yeah, that's,
It's off the map.
it's pretty much north of the Supply Road parking lot.
I do have a map later on that kind of shows a master plan, and then you could see where the Bartlett Road.
Yeah, because this map isn't showing me how you route those trails up to Bartlett.
We're not yet, not until it's official, but, yeah, that's the intent, is to have that connector going all the way to Bartlett.
Oh, so there's just like there's just a different Fat Tire trail up there?
Fat Tire does not go up there yet either. That'll be, the you know, like you see in the previous slide that I had, the Fat Tire is currently 15 miles, and that's basically around Vaza single track. When we expand it to 35, that's when we intend to take the Fat Tire up to Bartlett Road. Excuse me. The Fat Tire isn't really on that map at this point.
But you're not really talking about Fat Tire, you're talking about dirt.
Well, pretty much, today we're talking about just the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, you know, the township has really no, you know, probably authority over the single track. That still is all DNR land. It's just
The DNR would feel better if you had a lease with the township at the trailhead?
At the trailhead,
Okay.
yep.
Because you're looking at expanding it, and they're saying you as an organization may not be around, but East Bay Township will be. But,
I'm sorry, I probably should have clarified that. The
Yeah.
trail really isn't part of this discussion, just the
Yeah.
trailhead.
Right. No, that's why you need a trailhead, is because
but
you're
the,
establishing a crown jewel of,
Yeah. And my reason to bring this up is that, you know, the resources here are incredible. And they really are something,
Mhm.
so.
Well,
you know,
that was
the
my
trailhead
other
itself is
question.
really going to be, I think, a main place people are going to congregate, and they already are. It's, summer, that's why it's kind of parking lot, it overflows. It's, you know, on a summer weekend, it's,
I've seen cars on the Sublime.
and that's why we expanded, because that is not safe. And so we've kind of, I think, eliminated that issue.
the other, you want to ask other?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is that parking lot there, so is that East Bay property? Okay,
So, I was under the understanding that that was still state public land property.
Oh, okay.
That
It's
where-
state land property, yes, but it's in East Bay Township.
Yes.
Is that the correct way to say
So,
that?
that's something we don't
if you
maintain.
don't own the property, how do we hold the
Yeah, how do you,
lease?
It's going to be, there's a lease in the back of this package.
The DNR is going to
lease-
create this lease between
Right.
East Bay Township to be responsible, I would
Right.
assume, because they're uncertain that this group's going to be here, and they know the township will be here, so they're willing to do a lease, so to speak, and on that lease, there's, you know, maintenance and all those things.
No, I get why, I was just wondering how.
Yeah, we're gonna pass it on, so the township's gonna sign the lease with the DNR and then sign an agreement with them to do the maintenance, or the improvements, or
And then you're gonna come
whatever.
up with the funding to build it?
We're funding everything.
Okay.
And then there's a barn out there that TART is going to fund with us too. So, yeah, I mean, there's really no funds.
A lot of
to build it.
partnerships, but you
Yeah.
just need like a
Middleman.
You need our support and,
Well, and there-
yeah, but who's responsible for maintenance
Well,
then?
that's what we'll get into.
Yeah,
Okay.
There
he's
is-
not there
there's
yet.
restroom, there's a parking lot. I mean, there is some requirements.
Right.
That will be have to be,
Well, and I think some of the, why don't we get further through your slides, because that'll explain more.
Yeah, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
I know Beth sent information, the lease out, just a very cursory look to Paul Olson and Brian Graham, so insurance and lawyer, and they looked at it. Now, they went over it in 10 minutes, but they said nothing looks outrageous or, you know, something they can't deal with. So that was at least the first one that Beth wanted to figure out, should we go ahead? And they didn't really see any red flags at that point, so. But we're a long ways away from working out the lease.
Yeah, at this point, it's kind of, should he pursue it further, you know, or is this a non-starter with the Parks Commission or the Township Board?
Good. So our whole project here is called TREE. It's the Trailhead Restoration Expansion Enhancement. If you go on this QR code down in the left corner, that will send you to, we just populated our website with all this information. It's actually pretty slick.
And Brian did provide me an updated slide presentation, so I can email that out to everybody too.
So the first part here was the parking lot expansion, we call that Phase 1, and you can see to the left, the green is the expanded parking lot, and we did some trail rerouting. The next slide is the new parking lot, and you can see it fills up pretty well.
How new is it?
July of '22, so,
Last
Oh,
year.
very
Very
new.
new.
yeah, we had Elmer's do it, and it cost NIMBA $68,000 for.
And you got the DNR approval to do it? That's how
I
that?
think we supported John Rowe. I think John Rowe came and presented to us.
You guys gave us a letter of
Yeah,
recommendation and support for
yeah.
for the project. Yep, so. and
So
I-
this is the aftermath of supporting them last year.
Then I worked with Leslie and Preston on permits,
Mhm.
and they were outstanding. So give them a pat on the back. It was really pleasant to work with them. Just a little picture here, we're going to do kind of an archway that, as you go into the trail itself. So there you see an overhead of it. Phase 1 is the parking lot. Can you see the circle at the far right? 2 days after we finished it, it was still kind of soft, a ORV person decided to do a donut. So 12 inches down, it was a beautifully symmetric donut. But you can see where Phase 2 is, and we'll go into explanation there. The two areas. The smaller box would be the restroom changing rooms, and the larger area would be the shelter, social area, fire pit, thing like that. And then this is the plan view. And it kind of goes into a little bit more description on what we're doing there. And I think the pictures probably do a better job explaining that. So here's, right now, the current restroom is kind of where that new restroom is going to be. And I've done quite a bit of research. That is a bulletproof, bomb-proof cement structure that the National Forest uses. And
It's like any typical state land vault toilet.
no, I mean, the one we have out there
Oh,
is a typical state.
Yeah,
that smells
yeah,
and-
this is, okay, new.
This is, yeah, the chambers are much nicer, it's easier to clean out, you can hose it down. We've had issues with vandalism, on the wooden structure. This is about a $30,000 pit toilet, but it's a really nice one. It's, since I work for GM, it's the Cadillac of pit.
Good choice of words.
And on this, we also have, and we've had, comments from pretty much everybody, changing rooms. Because nobody wants to go in the bathroom to change.
Right.
So we have a changing area that we're going to have back there. Kiosks, pipe racks, it's really going to be a nice hub just by itself. So that's the first portion. And the second one is kind of the social gathering area. And we're going to have a pavilion and, a bunch of picnic tables. You can have events out there. I know Cherry Capital Cycling does events. NIMBA, I'll show you some pictures of events that we do out there. It's a great area, but there's really nothing there at the moment. And we try to make do, but we're really anxious to really get a world-class facility out there. And then Phase 3 is the grooming barn. So this would be for winter activity. And what we are talking about, I'll go back to Bartlett Road now, and TART has a grooming barn that they have all their grooming equipment over at Bartlett Road, and it's too small. And the other phenomenon that's happening is, look outside, winter is getting less and less. That area up there gets less snow. So they're struggling to try to get the equipment through that area, out to the trails. So long-term, they really do need a new spot for the grooming barn. And the Supply Road parking lot is ideal for that. So I've been working with TART with plans for this grooming barn. And then you can see the slide here. It's a 60 by 100, 70 by 120. We still haven't quite figured out, but it's a pretty big facility. So we'll have all of the TART grooming equipment will be in there, and then the NIMBA grooming equipment for Fat Tire will also be housed here. Kind of another advantage. I don't know if anybody skis out of the Bartlett Road facility, but as you get out of that, to get to the trails, there's actually a couple pretty good hills. trying to get out of there. So really, for people that are super skilled or sort of old like me, it is somewhat stressful. A lot of people will drive down to the Rock. You guys know where the Rock is? In the middle of the- But they'll drive down a road, get to the Rock, and then they'll start skiing from there because it's flat. And they don't have to do the hills.
Right, right.
If we get the grooming barn here, they're gonna groom out of Supply Road, which will be nice flat, so it will make a great access point for people that don't wanna do the hills right off the bat. And so again, during the winter, I think this trailhead is really gonna be another hub for both Fat Tire and cross-country skiing.
Is that dotted, if you park at Bass, a single trailhead, is it that red dotted line that takes you to the Four Corners? Is that what you're talking about? For cross-country skiing?
Yeah, on that map.
The cross-country ski trails aren't on this
Yeah,
map.
Basically, most of them are, if you can see the green right there,
Yeah.
that's Vasa Pathway.
Well, maybe I misunderstood. I thought you said they park at the they park on Supply.
No, they.
No,
right now,
Bartlett.
He's
most of
hoping.
the skiers park at Bartlett Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the main hub for cross-country skiing. And what I'm saying is, it's hilly to get onto the trails. So if they change the grooming barn down to Supply Road, they're obviously gonna groom out of Supply Road, and it's gonna make access much easier for cross-country skiers.
I think you were looking for where the rock location that he was explaining, is
The
that on
rock
there?
Parking area?
It's not even a park,
Yeah.
it's just down, what road is that?
Strombolus.
Oh.
Okay, okay.
I'm just doing some research for the next time I go skiing.
Yeah,
You can't miss the rock.
but you better have four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
So here's where we look at responsibilities. So East Bay Township, restroom cleaning, upkeep and pumping of the restroom. Gravel parking lot maintenance, I don't think they do, DNR does a whole lot there, but when there's some potholes, I think they go over and try to grate those out. And the other one would be parking lot winter plowing for Fat Tire biking. And also, when we get the TART group there, for access there.
Who does the current plowing right now?
DNR does.
They won't continue.
If the lease goes through, then it's our East Bay Township's responsibility.
I think, yeah.
Who plows the parks currently?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know an answer.
That's Bob.
My guess is this is the biggest resource suck.
Yeah.
Because in terms of the trail maintenance, structures, grounds maintenance, things like that, is going to handle all of that.
I mean, yeah. I'm not sure how the maintenance agreement works, but that's a lot of responsibility put onto our maintenance crew.
Potentially,
The maintenance
Yeah.
agreement's gonna be a problem, because we were a one-man show.
yeah,
Okay, yep.
Who's gonna retire soon?
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that, like TART trails might not, they might step up, they've helped us out at the trailhead and the Vasa trailhead, so, I don't know.
I mean, the
Possibilities.
The maintenance is a question for the big board.
Yeah, I don't think,
It might not be so much maintenance, but maybe a service contract.
Yeah, just like the tar trail snow removal.
I think the pumping is going to be,
That's not gonna be that bad.
oh, is, okay, well, doesn't
I
sound.
mean, think about porta potty
Yeah.
services,
Yeah,
it's
well, I
just,
mean, this park is where this property is gonna get a lot more usage than probably any of our other parks on a day-to-day basis. I mean,
Well,
you're,
pumping, we already have a pumping contract, and we're actually getting rid of one, so maybe it would
Yeah.
stay the same.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
plowing might be the biggest, because really, there's not a lot of maintenance on a daily, or weekly basis. I think that, like I said, potholes and grading a little bit, but it's pretty, the parking lots are pretty robust.
I'll tell you, over time, the grading will be an issue, but you just have to
You just
keep
have
up
to
with it, yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
and then you guys are gonna maintain the structures and all that. Who determines who gets to use those facilities?
Anybody can.
Okay,
Yep, yep,
so,
I mean, right now, it's state land, and so anybody can come in. Now, there are requirements, depending on, what type of event you have. Is there alcohol? I mean, there are permits that you need to go through with the DNR currently to have an event. because they do want to have some control on who's there, what they're doing, is it food, is it alcohol? So I've gotten pretty good at writing that stuff up. And that stuff isn't, 12 months, 18, that's, 3 months worth of work. So, and then I guess maybe that's a discussion that with East Main Township, how do we control what events go there?
That's what I was going to say. Does DNR control all of that, or does the township have some involvement in the events?
I think right now it's pretty much all the DNR.
But would it continue that way, do you think, or don't
I
know?
guess that's an item that we'd have to discuss if the DNR still wants to have, or if it's strictly.
I mean, a lot of
East Main.
DNR, like campgrounds, it's first come, first served too. I know there are some reservations. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I take 20 peoples of my family and have a picnic there, and then you guys show up and be like, no,
Right.
we got an event scheduled here, and you get mad and kick us out.
It might be like an event calendar that,
Yeah.
that somebody maintains and, you could work.
Yeah.
So currently, when you have functions there, do you go just to the DNR, or do you not?
I do for all the NIMBA events, but to be honest, and that's something, I'm working on an MOU with the DNR right now to define a lot of these rules. A lot of things have been handshakes in the past and not as formal, and ghost trails and things like that. So I kind of stepped in to really bring a little bit more structure to the organization and to get those agreements, because I really want an MOU. When do you need a permit? And for what events? A lot of times, the bike shops will show up and put tents up and, do demos, and I don't think there's any issue. They've never done a permit, and nobody really said anything.
Right.
Sherry Capital did a pancake breakfast. They've never, all the years, they've never had a permit, but they talked to me, and I said, well, I permit it. No, they did at that point, and I think the DNR appreciated
Well,
that.
I mean, you create something, people are gonna come and start using it, so you're definitely gonna have to get more strict on all that process, because,
Yeah. Because we'll have a nice pavilion.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be facilities I think people will be very attracted to.
And they could just run it, just like the shooting range down on Supply Road and like the old Advance Road shooting, you didn't sign up for anything, it was just whoever was there first,
Gets to use it.
yeah.
And so a part of this, it wasn't mentioned on your list, but I would assume that the township would be responsible for trash removal as well?
There's no trash out there now.
well,
What about like for the events and that? Do you guys take your own trash out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'd like to continue that, because I think once you put a bin out, then not just people that use the trail or the
Right.
trailhead, I think, and I do
Other
see
people find it.
walkers, parked
Yeah.
on the side of the road and that are using for I don't know why, using the restroom.
Yeah.
So, that I'd be more concerned about people just driving down Supply Road, dumping something in a bin. So I don't know if I'd want to.
And you don't have any trash issues out there right now?
And you could.
But you also
partner up
don't-
with Leave No Trace, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the other thing too is you don't have this kind of facility yet either,
yeah.
True, right.
so,
You might-
That would be
you might
wise
create
to-
some
Yeah.
New issues.
Start off with just monitoring it, see,
Right.
what kind of litter buildup
Yeah, but if
there
there's
is.
no trash, you run the risk of them throwing it down your pit toilet.
yeah.
That's a good point.
People are gonna find a spot if they don't want to
Yeah.
take it with them.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, that'd be something to consider.
And here's kind of an event that we have at the end of the season, and it's kind of in the area that we've been talking about. It's just a great space. We put lights up and
How'd you get the lights?
a generator. We
Oh.
just strung them up and had a generator, things like that.
So what do you need from the commission?
I have a couple
Just
questions.
Kind of approval,
Once you
or,
open that.
I don't know, Beth might be able to answer that better, or Sarah, do you know?
Well,
I'm hung up on because it's East Bay property, but it's not a park or anything that we manage, so this would be
It's not our
bringing it
property.
into it.
Yeah, it's
Right.
DNR property.
Yeah,
But it-
it's not our property.
The lea-
DNR is looking to give a lease to the township.
Yeah, they would lease it to us. We're not.
Yeah, we would just be the leaseholder.
Okay,
It's like NIMBA didn't pass the background check, but we did, so they'll rent to us.
okay,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Tracking.
Right. So, and I think the involvement on the Parks Commission is because, it will function like a park and because we hold this lease for maintenance. So, and, I think this trailhead and the trail will end up in our park and rec plan, not that we're doing anything, it's not township property, but, it's a facility that exists here. So I think for now, I think the Parks Commission, any feedback, questions, concerns that you'd like Brian to look into further, or like I said, if you're saying, I don't like this, I don't think it'll work, then you need to let him know that too, because he would need to explore other avenues to try to get a lease with someone else for the trailhead. And so,
Could you advertise it as a East Bay Township park?
I think so, I mean,
Well, we do
You
that.
could, but
we-
then you're opening it up to more liability and
Well, we
stuff.
do that with Brown Bridge. Brown Bridge is county,
yeah.
but it's in East Bay.
City.
So we're like, we have Brown Bridge quiet areas in East Bay,
Right.
but it's not under our umbrella, our jurisdiction, our care. Sue, you said you had some questions.
I have two questions. One is, how do you keep four-wheelers or motorcycles going down those paths?
You know, you can. Well, I mean, they can't go on the bike paths, but there is a seasonal road that goes by that, and, you know, we do have, and I think that's where the.
Can a motorcycle go down can a motorcycle go down your fat tire
No,
paths?
No, it's completely non-motorized, and so.
Well, it's not motorized, but can a motorcycle illegally go down those paths?
Legally, no.
Yeah, illegal.
Illegally, can a motorcycle go down those paths? Okay.
Right.
So this is just leading to the other greatest, I mean, I do like the idea, I love the outdoors. My biggest no is a fire pit. So right now, no one really knows too much about this little area, and it looks like a very good, crown jewel is a very well title for this property. I would be concerned if it does lease out to the township, our liability with that fire pit. To me, without a fire pit is a lot different than with a fire pit, due to the fact that, okay, here's the fire pit, so what is that going to do? That's going to me, give more liability. Somebody's out there after hours, it's really dry summer, oh, let's have a fire. You know, especially in the forest that it's surrounding. I think that's only asking for trouble. Would it be great to have one? You betcha. If there was someone on property all the time, I would feel safer with that. But because it isn't, and there's not going to be, it's like you see on TV, the Cadillac parking lot, and they have this gorgeous, huge gas fireplace. Well, it's in the middle of a parking lot, and it's lit. How great that would be. How great it would be to have it at our parks, you know, but there's always people there. That would be that's a concern for me, is a fire pit there. I would love to see a fire pit, and how perfect in the wintertime. But as we all know, like you said, a four-wheeler was going down it, and illegally, once it's known it's there, I'm sure there will be, you know, trouble with that kind of thing. And I would hate to have that start a forest fire, you know, so,
Which this,
because I value the trees that are out there.
Can I just say, so there's a trailhead in Cadillac where the state of Michigan has a pavilion with a big fire pit, and there's wood next to it that you can have fires. There's plenty of parks that have fire, I mean, we're planning one for Grace McDonald, with the fire pit and that warming hut.
But it's not so isolated. There's people that can come and go. It's in a neighborhood, Grace McDonald. This is right off Supply Row, more a tucked away type area where it's not so observant from a road like Grace is. I mean, people are coming and going all times of the year out of Grace McDonald to have a fire pit there.
The one thing that we did, I live on Duck Lake Peninsula, we have a pavilion, and there's a fire pit there, and same issue, and now there's a lot of people living around it, so it's leaving, but what we do is we lock it. There's a big cover on it, and it's padlocked, and then you have to get permission to use it. So, I mean, if there's things like that, that would make, you know, sense to control that, and we've had no issues with that, because it's a big beefy lock.
Yeah, I'd be more concerned about people using it as a trash can, but
If it's open, yeah. So
Yeah.
Even thinking with your comment and then my, the experience I've had with our fire pit, lock it, yeah. Because, and to be honest, the one in Cadillac, I've been there twice, and guess what was in the, and this is a beautiful pavilion. It has this gorgeous stone fireplace. Guess what was in the fireplace? Every time I was there, trash.
Yeah.
So,
Now, I will say, there's a park that we manage in the county that has a fire pit and an outdoor pavilion fireplace, and those seem to be just fine, but that is a pretty active park, and we do monitor it quite a bit, so.
Yeah, and is
Well-
it surrounded by trees? I mean, we
So
got
are-
a massive state forest out there.
But have you ever gone camping at any of the DNR state campgrounds? You've got 15 to 45
You
fire
do, but
pits.
those are maintained with a host. And-
No, they're not.
Well,
You've got-
there's people coming and going. This looks like it's very isolated. There is no buildings
I'm
around
not
it.
disagreeing with you, I'm just saying there's a lot of unattended fire pits.
Yeah, and we're not comparing apples to, to apples, because that space that you're talking about, the Crown Jewel, it's surrounded by gorgeous trees, pines, maples, all kinds, and that I would be concerned about someone having the freedom to, let's have a fire, and then it starts to pine, and then all of a sudden, we have the whole forest on fire. And it's just because of where it is, it's out in state-owned land.
I mean, you can control it, I agree with your thoughts.
Susan, would you be more comfortable if it was, say, like a fireplace inside the pavilion versus like an open fire pit?
To me, I would just prefer no fire. It's opening some Pandora's box, especially out in that area.
I agree, forest fires, that's a legitimate concern.
I'm mostly concerned about the forest fires, it's my biggest.
I
I
think,
No.
agree with you, but there's
And-
hundreds of unsupervised DNR fire pits in northern Michigan.
The
Well,
DNR
let's not be one of
was
them.
concerned about it, because I've reviewed this multiple times with them, and actually, the trail development proposal has that in it already, so the DNR has agreed to that content.
Right.
But again,
Pretty sure they probably monitor that area too.
So the only ones that, that have to live with, any issues.
Well, can we task you then to go back and consider and to come up with some ideas to deal with fire pit?
Sure, yep.
And
With,
Or not do it with fire pit.
well, to go back to who your group, however you're doing this, and come up with a, knowing that's a
Plus of the
concern?
liability, I
Yeah.
I think you really have to communicate with the maintenance. Because again, my concern is, I don't think we have the resources to add on. Because we're already adding on a lot of maintenance with our existing East Bay Township parks. Nobody's gonna disagree that this isn't amazing, but I don't know if we have what it takes to add more to our maintenance budget and actual work.
But can we subcontract that out?
And who, are we
Well-
paying for that?
We
East
would
Bay
be
paying
paying
for
for
that?
that. To my understanding, we
So
would be
that would come
paying
out of
for
the
that.
Parks Commission budget then?
Maintenance, it would probably come out of maintenance.
Well, that's my
Boardman Lake.
question.
Right,
For the Boardman Lake Trail, there's an agreement with Tart Trails, the city, the county, multiple entities, contribute into a fund to help take care of the maintenance. And I imagine that's probably what you would have to do as well.
with both us and the DNR?
No, us and them,
Tart,
and maybe Tart.
There's still might be the possibility that I do talk to the DNR, and they said, well, we have a plow truck going down there anyways. I don't know. So I
Right.
think we
Sure.
can Look at any
Sure.
possibilities here.
I think you're optimistic.
Might be, but.
I mean, that's definitely something we need to discuss and figure out who's going to be responsible for that.
But the parks doesn't, we don't have a maintenance budget.
No, that'd be the
Parks Commission
township.
maintenance
Oh, that's
on its own,
right.
So that's the township one.
Okay.
I'll
Right.
add that to your list of things you're gonna think about and work on.
I mean, I don't think any of us would say no to the project itself, but it's almost like I mean, we would support it, but I think your questions are directed to the wrong board.
Well, I think you're.
Well, yeah, I mean, that specific aspect of the maintenance fee, I mean, fees.
I think that the board would like your thoughts, though, and input on that, and if it's just, we're concerned about this, and if we
Yeah.
have staffing, or if you'd like it more refined and say, you know, is the DNR going back? Because they're going to ask that same question, or how do we get this? Is TART willing to provide a contract to plow, you know, what's that look like? Are people willing to contribute if the township says, I'll put in 5,000, reorganization put in 5,000, and TART to plow the parking lot? So I'm thinking maybe just some more of those discussions that we can report back to this commission that we've explored, so that you can let the township board know that.
I like your changing building. I like for the bathrooms. I do like both of those. And whoever did your engineering design, kudos, because you can actually, it's an actual visual, like a real visual.
And I was told I needed to do that if you're going to ask for money. People want to see something versus a bunch of verbiage, so.
But this is actually really looking like it exists, and it doesn't. So kudos. Was that ECTI?
It was.
Are they out of Traverse City, or?
Michelle Post was the landscape architect, and I found her, I went to a meeting down in Traverse City, and, you know, the commons area, and you know,
Sure
there's all
do.
these road trails there, and I mean, there's a big discussion now that they want
Oh, yeah.
to get new trails and all that. She was the one that did all of that work, and I was impressed, and I thought, you know, so, and she really, I think, gave us a pretty good price, too, so she was very,
Wonderful, because the Commons is excellent.
right,
It's done excellent.
Right.
Nothing but the best from the get-go.
yeah.
That's the way it should be if you're going to do something, do it
Right.
right the first time.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, I do like all that. I just really, the fire pit scares me, but
I have a couple clarifying questions. So the lease only entails the parking lot area? Okay. How big is that?
We'll have to decide.
Okay.
I mean, just, you know, get it surveyed for the parking lot, and so we can make a decision on the boundaries. So,
And then, is there a cost associated for that lease, or is it just kind
I
of,
think it's $1.
Yeah, it's typically $1.
okay, okay. All right, I was just curious.
All quarters.
Okay.
so our concerns are the maintenance, so the maintenance of the parking lot, the maintenance of the trash, the removal, where's it going to go, who's going to remove it, and what else?
Fire.
Yeah, the fire pit.
It'd be nice to know what that cost is, and, you know, and then see, you know, take it from there, because, I mean, if it's reasonable, I mean, that's one thing to absorb it, but, you know, there's things like snow plowing, grading and stuff that can get pretty pricey too, so.
Grading especially, or treatment of that. How about like, I know in our community garden concepts and that we were looking at doing maybe like a phone charging stations that are solar or something for our emergency. I just throw
There's
in,
no power there right now.
Right.
But if we do decide to, you know, do the Phase 3 with TART and that grooming barn, it's going to have to be heated. So I've talked to Cherryland Electric, they're the ones that do that. And if there's a house that's a quarter mile down, that's where the power stops. And so it's about $25,000, $30,000 event, and my copper's even more, so that might be more, but to bring power. But that would be more Phase 3 in the TART.
yeah, and again, I was just thinking solar, you know, like say
Oh.
if somebody had, if you had, they make charging stations for like phones in that,
Yeah,
you know.
that's a great idea. And Cadillac right now has solar-powered lights.
Yes, and so does the Boardman
Okay.
Trail.
Yeah.
They're really nice.
Right.
Nice lights. But anyways, just a thought in case somebody is out on that trail alone. I don't know, just
Yeah,
things,
that's, yeah.
just
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Another question. So you guys are funding the building cost and all this?
Yeah.
And,
My budget so far is about, for this Phase 2, is about maybe $160,000 to $180,000. So it's going to be,
once you start getting buildings and stuff, and I'm assuming you're gonna pay for all that, there's gonna be no
Right.
liens or anything?
Oh, no, yeah.
Say if you don't exist in 5 years, does that just get turned over to East Bay Township with the lease?
Probably go to.
Or does that go,
Works-
okay,
well, I don't know if you.
To the, who owns the property?
the state,
The taxpayers.
yeah.
Well, it'd be the state.
Right.
Out clauses could be built into the agreement too, you know, depending on circumstances.
I mean, that's kind of out there, but I was just curious.
I did a gift and acceptance form, another one that took months, to the DNR, and so we gifted the parking lot to the DNR, even before, we did anything, so, and so they own the parking lot at the moment.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really want to have to, have it under Nimbus name. So there are forms that, and I was probably going to gift and accept, probably not the Tart big grooming barn. I think Tart wanted to keep that, but maybe for all of our stuff, I'd probably just gift and accept that to the DNR.
Okay. But,
Look at this map, this will, Corey, kind of give you, kind of way up at the top left, it is that the Vaza trailhead at Bark.
Oh, I see it.
So that's way up there. And then you can kind of see the red trail, there's a big loop there. That's all unmarked, that this is our intent to, to make that official DNR trail. And going all the way down to Vaza and also Muncie Lake at the very bottom. Tart really would like to do a connector and make it up to Vaza also. Everybody wants to get to Vaza single track. That's the intent.
Muncie.
From Muncie Lake?
Muncie's on the other side of
Runny
Supply.
Lake.
You go across the road.
There's a couple roads.
No,
No.
Muncie's just,
There's just a.
it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not the greatest trail at the moment, but,
yeah.
I mean, that really doesn't, affect the lease of the property. I just wanted to give you a scope that this is really, it's not just 20 miles of little single track. This really is quite a hub. And I really do think for East Bay Township, it's a feather in your cap. This is really going to get to be very well known, and I think it's worthwhile to advertise that, that this is part of your, organization.
I hope that it comes to fruition, because I'm not a big fan of the thought of people just out there cutting their own trail.
Yeah, it's been a problem. It's been going on for years. I think how a lot of those trails started is motorcycles. And finally, they got those people out of there, but the trails were left behind, and now you got the bikes, and unfortunately, people start to ride in one direction, and we're really trying to thwart that. And our organization will go out and throw sticks on some road trails that people start, because we've been telling the DNR, no new trails. I mean, and we're even going to try to help you manage the ghost trails and make sure that we don't have more. So your comments are,
Yeah.
dead on, that, want to be very careful out there.
I mean, I went from a free-for-all from motorcycles or whoever to then now bikers are in there now trying to stop the motorcycles, so kicking off certain groups of people, but then it's the same, mountain bikers are doing the same thing. They've claimed that as their own, which is great, but we can't be allowing them to do that. It needs to be,
What Scott Slayton, he's the trail director for this whole area. What he wants to do is stop having NIMBA come in and piece together some trail, and then the ORV guys piece it. He wants to get a cohesive plan out here, wants to get the trails for ORVs, motorcycles, mountain bikes, hiking, get all that set, and at some point, say, I'm done. Okay, Vaza land is finished, the trails you have is what you have, and don't come bothering me again. He has thousands of people
Yeah.
inputting all this, and so he really is looking for a cohesive plan, and that's really, this master plan for us is part of that.
So I'm not real familiar with that tire bikes, but do they eat up a lot of the soil in that, and do you have to groom that?
Actually, even less. I mean, it's a huge, wide tire, low pressure.
I know that, but I was wondering, because there was one on the Boardman Lake Trail on Sunday, and it sounded like they almost had studs or something in that tire.
Some
Do
of
they?
them are studded,
Okay,
but on gravel, on dirt, it doesn't do anything.
What
Okay.
trail?
the Boardman Lake Trail that goes around the,
The next phase of concerns here is, guess what's becoming super popular? E-bikes.
electric.
And
Oh,
that's going to be the new horizon.
yeah,
Because right now, the DNR says no e-bikes.
right.
Yeah, it is.
So
It's a big
That'll
one.
be a challenge. Again, I mean, it's not your issue at all, it's the DNR trails, but that's the next area that the DNR is struggling with.
I would definitely back that DNR's thought of, there'll come a point where no more trails. This trail's for this vehicle, this trail is for bikes, this,
Yep.
And because that is the beauty of all that land there, is the untouched by humans, but
Well,
yeah.
it needs to be
have a-
multi-use too for non-motorized and motorized too.
Right.
We
'Cause
can't-
Everybody pays taxes, it's their land.
Mhm.
So everybody has, their ability to be out there.
So there's a big ORV track out there currently, correct?
Yeah, there's snowmobile, then there's
Those go more on
also,
the
I don't know if
power
it ties,
That goes more on the power road.
no, it goes through the woods. And it intertwines quite a few spots.
Well, there's a horse trail too.
There's horse trails, there's
Trail.
snowmobile,
Got- What's the northern hike?
North Country Trail.
The North Country Trail.
that goes through there.
That goes right through there.
I don't know if any of the,
Cross-country, you want to get a bike going, but where, so then, do motorcycles take the ORV trail?
I don't know the rules with ORV and snowmobile. I think some of it's open to all vehicles.
Because now you got me
But-
worried about the motorcycle riders. Where are they going?
Well, this is where we need them to make marked trails, eliminate the non-marked
Yeah.
trails, because the non-marked trails aren't just bike trails. A motorcycler could be like, oh,
Right.
go down it as well.
Or a
Um,
snowmobile on a cross-country trail.
Yeah, yeah.
And you had a question about, can a motorcycle go down the mountain bike trail? In my years, I just haven't seen that.
They haven't found it yet.
It'd be really tight.
I mean, as a mountain biker and previous motorcyclist, like, it wouldn't be very fun.
Okay.
You'd have to work it.
Too tight and twisty and turny and,
Yeah, I mean, I hit my handlebars on trees, and that's only this wide. A dirt bike's way bigger.
Your guys' trail system, I don't think butts up to any single track for dirt bikes.
It crosses.
Does it? Okay. I don't know that trail system, but, I mean, some of that stuff's pretty, it's just like your single track.
How
but
many
it's-
miles is it currently?
20 miles is not a single trail.
And that, right now, was it 20 miles from Supply over to Bartlett, you said?
That'll turn, well, I mean, if we get a lot of the green and red and, try to get this large proposal through, it'll be,
Up to-
60, right.
Right.
But officially, right now, it's a 20 mile marked trail, which is still, that's pretty long. For a mountain bike, you're pretty cooped out by the time you get done with that.
They all look it in this picture.
All right, so I guess, Brian, you've proposed your plan. I think we're all in support of this project, but I think we would like some more information maybe before we give our full support to move on
Yeah.
for the lease and maintenance.
A lot of questions on costs and maintenance and things that we'll do work on and get a full picture so you
Yeah.
guys can make a informed decision.
Yeah, maybe, do you have a rough count of daily usage?
I know that TARP put out a counter out there, so I can ask Chris Cushman, I think, and see if he has data.
Yeah, because I think once we start, this gets bigger and bigger and more stuff, that's just going to be more usage and then more maintenance and all that cost as well, so that might be some helpful information.
So what party was this, with the lights and all?
Fiesta.
Our NIMBA end-of-the-year fiesta. It just, and you see the little structure there that we call it the cantina, and it's just a trailer that one of the guys in the group made, and so we roll that up and have, and you see the one picture, there's a wooden trough thing.
Making
That was
nachos in that?
nachos.
They look really cool.
Yeah, that's good.
And like 5 hours before the party, we chainsawed a log out, put nachos in it, and then used a blowtorch to melt the cheese.
That's great.
Nice.
But it's a great space. It really is a great space.
All right, well,
A lot of trees in there, too, surrounded by trees.
Well, yeah, it'll probably be thinned out a little bit, that was before anything was built.
all right. Well, we appreciate you coming, Brian. Yeah,
Good discussion. I
Yeah.
appreciate the
Yep.
questions too.
Great proposal.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
All right, well, I guess we'll look forward to some of your answers to some of those questions and talking to you again. All right. Moving on, we need to talk about the Park and Recreation Plan Survey, which is attached in the agenda packet. I think Sarah was saying this might look a little funny on paper. It's probably meant for mobile or computer.
Yeah, when you put it into the PDF, it doesn't always go very well. But did I include a link in your packet email to be able to
Yes,
look
because
at it?
I clicked on
Okay.
the link and opened it up.
Yeah, so you can kind of work through it. So, you know, I gave you the history, but we're working on the Park and Rec plan this year, the complete update. And the first step is kind of a survey to get some information on that. We had thought that maybe we would be able to have the survey open for the sledding party in February. I don't know if that's going to work out or not, depending on your comments tonight and if there's snow in February, to move forward with that. So this is just kind of, we took a look at the current park plan and then some questions that usually get asked just in a Park and Rec update. So it's a starting point. So I'm just looking for feedback from the Parks Commission on questions, anything we missed, make sure that we did include all the parks and the questions that need to have all the parks included, things like that. And then anything additional that you would like us to ask or think about. So we can you just start at the beginning, I guess, and if anybody has any comments as we walk through, just kind of bring that up. So first one we're dealing with, you know, how frequently do you use these facilities? These are all township facilities. They're not everything
Thank
that's
you.
in the township, but township-owned properties.
Yeah, so like I see in here, we have the Tart Trail, 3 Mile, North American Vasa Trail.
Oh, that's further in, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that is on question, that's question 5.
yeah.
Yeah, so that is the additional kind of list of,
So I'd be curious on like how many East Bay Township residents actually utilize the single track too. Because I know people, I have buddies from Leelanau County that come all the way over here. Like, there's quite the influx of people traveling. It's not like just a local group of people, it's,
There's big races and stuff that come to town
Yeah.
that use those.
track?
oh yeah. Yeah, the ice moon.
That's not single track, that's Boston Pathway.
But it still utilizes,
Isn't like
yeah.
The big one goes all the way to Kalkaska.
So,
yeah.
so what's your question,
The single
Zach?
track-
What's your question then on number 5?
I'm just saying, it wasn't a question, it's more a statement. It's, I think that was something
I
good
think
too.
question number 5 needs to add the single track.
Right,
Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
yes.
yeah, because, yeah, the Vasa isn't part of,
Okay.
isn't it the
So like
Vasa
supply
single
road,
track?
what do you call it? Supply
We've
road
got-
single track? What do they
I
call it?
thought it was the
Yeah.
Vasa single.
The single track is the one on Supply Road.
Yeah,
and
but
then
isn't that
Boston
Vasa?
Pathway is the one that's like-
But that's a Vasa trail.
That's the Vasa Trail, though.
Vasa single track.
It's all Boston, yeah. There's
So-
two different trails.
So Vasa Pathway and then Vasa Single Track, you could almost put both of them on here because, you know, they want to connect
That's what
them.
we're talking about.
So the Vasa single track, I would just put in parentheses, Supply Road, right? And then the Vasa Trail, I'd put Bartlett Road.
We've got North American Vasa Trail up here already.
Right, so we're gonna change that. to-
So maybe break
Yeah.
that into.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 and then put the trailheads so that people can explain which trailhead they use.
Did we want to start with 1 again? Okay.
If you have to go in order, Susan, yes, we can.
Yeah. Then we
One
make
is-
sure we got it all done.
It's pretty,
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have any.
I'll hold my tongue until we get to the one I want to add.
Okay. So, 2, we talk about recreational activities. Is there anything additional recreational activities we should be adding to this list?
Facilities or activities? Are you
Activities
at
number 2.
You know, I don't,
I was gonna say,
Pickleball?
should we add pickleball?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't need to start a fight over pickleball, so,
You'll
yeah, I'll
probably
lose. Yeah, I will.
They organize quickly. Tennis?
Yeah.
We have tennis at Grace.
So all the
Which they
amenities
should
that we
be-
cover in our parks, so.
They should be separate, pickleball and tennis
Yeah,
is
they
a
should be.
separate entity. And that was going to be my one for number 4, is add courts on there, but we'll wait till we get there.
Okay.
You can
Too
where
bad
can
we
you-
can't put in gardening.
Why couldn't we?
We can add
Put
gardening,
in gardening.
because it just says, what activities do you enjoy in East Bay Township?
Yeah, gardening is a recreation activity.
We just don't have a facility at the moment.
Right.
It's at a
Where's,
park.
can you camp in East Bay? Yes, we can, never mind, didn't ask that. I like the bird watching.
Okay.
Crafting. Till I
Really?
die.
Oh.
Art till I die.
How about, oh, we got sledding.
I mean, we have another selection as well, so.
How would you say recreational activity?
Yeah, there is other, so somebody can fill in the box.
Specify.
Yeah.
Is that really not a
No,
recreational?
Which, what did you say?
Group
Like a
gatherings.
group
like
gathering?
to use a pavilion or something like
Yeah.
that.
Pavilion?
Yeah.
Hall?
I don't know how you would, or how that would fit in or not fit in. I
Yeah.
just threw that out there.
I think it's fine. Move on to 3.
Kickball.
Wait, what
Number-
thing? Oh, here we go.
Number 3, rating the current recreational offerings.
I think number 3 is pretty good. And then we allow for other.
Yep.
Are we on 4?
Yes.
As we go through this, I would just propose, because there's 21 questions total. As anyone who's ever been asked to take a free survey, it'll only take 60 seconds of your time. So I would say we should look to cut. No one's going to complete it.
Yeah.
I actually, yeah,
If it's, how many long?
21
21's not too bad.
I guess what's,
I'm just saying, if we're looking to do anything, I'd say,
Right.
are any of these questions axable?
Right.
I think they're all good so far, but
Okay.
just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
what, do we have an average time? Does the software give you
Yeah.
an average time?
Yeah.
and then you get timed out, you mean, if you don't complete?
No,
No,
it
no,
just-
it just tells you a rough average time that it should
Oh,
take
to
you to
complete,
Yeah, so
yes.
if it says this survey takes 2 to 3 minutes, people are
Right.
like, yeah, I'll do it. But if it says it takes 7 to 8 or 12 to 13,
Right.
they'll be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
So, on number 4, Susan, what did you want to add here?
We need to add tennis courts separate and then pickleball courts. There's nothing about courts on there.
Do you only have pickleball at one park?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And tennis is at, well, tennis is only at 1. We have basketball.
Well, you could just put tennis / or pickleball, because you've got
No.
baseball or softball, because it's all done at Grace McDonald.
They need to be separate, because then that's going to identify how many people are using those tennis courts compared to
But we
pickleball
already know
courts.
if they're using the tennis courts because they're marking it on this page. And there's no other choices in East Bay Township.
But why then are we duplicating?
Yeah, but, okay, so
this here?
number 4 is only asking, where do you do those activities? And tennis and pickleball are both done at Grace McDonald. That's my point.
You can put tennis and/or pickleball as an option.
That's
And
what I
then we
mean.
can reference,
Yeah.
we can
But it's
reference,
all gonna be Grace.
And then go back to 3 and say,
Yeah.
which one do they
Because
do?
really, if you don't put some kind of in there of courts, it's not going to reference back to, it's just going to be in that swirling or that AOL guy running, it has no place to run. Because we added it here on number 2, your activities, at least you could tie it up with something
That leads me to my
to
question.
number 4.
If we know what recreational activities they're doing in the township, do we care about where they do them? Is this an removable question?
This is going to give us an idea of where we can expand on and, do more in our parks to accommodate the recreation, things that they like to do, and then,
Well, really, they're only going to be able to do whatever is allowed at that park. I
Okay,
mean, they're not gonna play tennis.
Well, this is just gauging their interest, because that way we can know.
Well, this
our-
says specifically describe the activities you do, not the ones you want to do in the future, but the activities you
East
do
Bay Township.
at the current park.
I think adding pickle,
The parks that you, like, if 90% of the people are doing their hiking in this park, we should focus on those trails versus all the trails.
Right. We can add a pickleball/tennis category here,
Yeah, I just. I'm
even though
sort
it
of
will be at
just
Grace
questioning the whole-
McDonald, but.
I'm just sort of questioning
Well,
the
I
whole
think, I think
question.
on the report, if they say they do pickleball on number 2, we can run a report from the survey. There's 300 people that do pickleball, and there's only 100 people that do tennis. Then that would be a great gauge of where they're doing it, and more than likely, they're gonna click tennis or pickleball on question number 4, because that's the only place we offer it. So, if they,
So you're saying divide it up on the first question, 3,
yeah,
and then
yes.
group it together in number
Yeah.
4.
We're trying to eliminate questions, so if you add another box, now that's another thing they gotta
Right.
read. But we know the only place that they can do those 2 activities is at Grace McDonald Park. But we can base our usage off of the question number 2.
Well,
Can we say,
same
like,
goes for
racket
canoeing and
sports
kayaking. They're not gonna be doing it at Pines Park or Kelly's Park.
No, but it's Arbutus 5.
Or Gens.
Well, it's a given, just like playing court, racquetball, it's a given, you're only gonna do it at Grace. It's not really telling us anything, this question 4.
Well,
Because please select all recreational activities you enjoy doing in East Bay Township. Even though gardening, they do it at home, we don't really have a spot for that. But at least that tells us what they're doing, and
Well, I mean, no, it makes sense, because, I mean, there's still the other items here that they might not check under Grace McDonald, and that will tell us, you know, hey, maybe not a whole lot of people go to Grace McDonald to bicycle, you know, just, that would make sense.
why do we have camping under this? Why don't get rid of camping and put courts in there?
Okay,
Yeah, camping is DNR.
Where do we
Camping
do
is DNR.
camping?
Yeah.
Okay, move on, huh?
5 we already hit, just alter the Vasa Trail one.
yep. And then 6 is just an open-ended question, so just anything else in there? Availability, so these are getting to, you know, all ages that you're trying to plan for, and, you know, people's thoughts on that. And then we get into a little bit more specific about parks. 8 through 10 here are related to, you know, which park you visit most frequently, which one's closest to your house, and would you ever, what's your preferred park or type of thing. Method of transportation to get to the park. And then there is a little discussion about the mini parks, Pine Grove and Jens Park. I was gonna update that acreage. So then we get into Holiday Woodlands. There's just a couple of questions, because again, we're gonna go into a deep dive on Holiday Woodlands, but this also calls out, you know, that it is a new park. It's a little bit of an educational component. And then kind of gets us started on where we should dive into, so uses that should be at the property, and then just a general comment on that too. Is there anything park-related? So the next questions are all demographics. Is there anything at another park that you would like to ask a specific question on? Something that maybe you've talked about but haven't really, you kind of go, oh, would people even use that if we did that question? This would be a good time to ask that.
It
Pines
was in
Park,
Old Mastery. Sorry, go ahead.
Pines Park.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
In our old master plan, land acquisition, 4 Mile Road.
4 Mile Land Acquisition?
I just think Jens Park is literally the only waterfront we own. I think we-
4 Mile, at the end of 4 Mile, got
Jens
it.
Park.
That's come
Oh.
up.
It's already in our old master plan.
Yeah.
I think it would be good to
The
keep
the
it.
boat launch.
Right,
the
there,
boat launch.
if you have a quad and a small jet ski, you can launch it, that's about it.
I mean,
I saw it.
I was thinking about saying something really smart, but I'm not going to get
Wait
myself
till
in
the
trouble.
cameras, the camera and the recorder's on?
So you're saying specifically the old existing boat launch, because it used to be a boat launch.
Right, right, and in
Yeah.
the master, it's owned by the DNR, in our master plan.
Yeah.
It was one of
Yeah.
our priorities for land acquisition to do a.
Is it
public
DNR or
fishing
owned by
pier.
the county?
Our
It
master
was owned by
plan
the
is,
county.
our master plan is
The
DNR.
Parks
Is it?
Master Plan?
Okay.
Read it before we came.
Yeah, so I think it'd be,
So fine, you could jump right to it.
No, it would be here, priorities.
Number 4 is land acquisition, number 5
Yeah.
is trail.
Talk
conservation.
amongst yourselves.
yeah. I mean, I think that'd be a good question to throw in there, just to affirm if we should continue to make that an acquisition priority or not.
Or
Uh,
if it's possible.
Right.
Maybe put the word if
I
it's
just, I saw the
possible.
mini parks and it made me think of that one.
Yeah.
It's like the gens is right there.
Yep.
What's your concern on Pines Park?
Park, that just sort of sits there. I mean, how do you take this survey, this opportunity, and say, hey, does anyone have any thoughts of what to do on Pines Park that's off of 3 Mile Road? A lot of people might not even know what it is. Some people might have some good ideas. Some people might not
Yeah.
know what it is.
Do you want to create a list of items you could do there, or do you just want to leave it
You could have
open-ended?
like maybe an open box. They could
Okay.
put
Well, in theory, it'd be very similar to Holiday Wood,
Right.
the things for Holiday Woodlands, really. It's open space, so.
Well, I mean, we also have the water tower property as well that
I was just-
is supposed to be in our next
Yeah, that's one of our.
master
priorities.
plan, yeah.
That's at the top of 5 Mile. Water tower, East Bay Township's water tower.
Okay.
It's not really in our parks plan.
No, but that was something we wanted
Well,
to.
it's
You wanna
dog
add
park
it in.
is.
Yeah, we were thinking
Dog
dog
park
park
is in our
and
plan.
trails.
Thank God, I was gonna bring that up. I was like, how is this not in our master plan?
It is. We intentionally made a blurb so that if something came up and we needed a grant, we could go to the master plan and say, we want to put a dog park in. We've done a survey and there is a demand for the dog park,
Everyone I've talked to, when I told them I was doing this, like, dog park.
yeah, which is at the water
But
tower.
it isn't just dog park, it is trails and senior fitness.
Okay, yeah, I'm not trying to make it exclusive. I'm just-
No,
No, we just,
I have to drive
Well,
all the
no,
way
we-
to Silver Lake to go to a decent dog park, and
Yeah.
it seems like there should be one over here.
no,
Yeah.
I can
Okay.
find that too.
I mean, we were talking about Pines Park, so
Yeah.
that might be something
that's a
to
good one,
add as
too.
well.
Great spot for it.
Yeah. I mean, I could,
I mean, we could just do, what would you like to do? Do you know about this property, question mark? And then the next
Oh, for
question
Pines?
would be, what would you like to potentially see? And just leave it as an open-ended comment.
I think just leave it open. I was going to say, I could make question 13 and use these same uses and then put the parks down the side, but then I lose the Holiday Woodlands, which is what we're next working on. So I might just leave these open-ended, and then I'll just sort through them and create a,
Yeah, that would
Something that looks-
potentially just give us a rough,
I hate to like limit people and say, I think Holiday
Right.
Woodlands, everybody's kind of discussed more as a natural area, so those uses make sense, where these, there's been discussions, but nothing really formal.
Right.
Is that-
Open-ended's fine.
Pickleball courts over there. Off the Pines.
we also had, public emailed us about the Tibbetts Lake property.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of
Public
properties,
access.
I think that we have that,
Yeah.
one, people are unaware of,
Spider
but
Lake.
also should probably be
There's-
included in the master plan.
There's I
Those
don't
are
know
just
if you were with
like
us when
sliver
we do,
right-of-ways.
the, all of the sites
Mhm.
on Peninsula Trail on Spider Lake. There's 2 heavily used access points, and one of them, I'd like to see stairs, because it's just eroding,
Mhm.
eroding.
Yeah, it's not, it's
That's
township
Those are
property, but
easements, aren't those
Those are
easements?
Those are easements, but you can put stairs in.
Right.
'Cause
Well, and
I-
that's something that this commission, I think, can work through with the park plan, because you
Yeah.
have stairs and things like that.
Speaking of the park plan, do you have a copy? A few months ago, in summer, I think, we had a whiteboard and we voted on our priorities. And we said this is a good foundation for our
Yeah.
parks. Do you have that?
I have the priority list, yeah.
Okay.
I took a photo of it too, so I have a photo.
Do you want to add Tibbetts Lake into that open-ended question, or is that property small enough that you kind of already know what you're going to end up doing with it?
We haven't even seen
I
it.
guess it's probably small enough, but it was brought up
Yeah.
by someone in the public.
I think before
I
we
think
start
that's-
asking questions about it, maybe we should have staff look into it,
Right.
because I don't know.
What exactly is it?
How accessible it is.
Well,
Yeah.
I think,
And I
Okay.
don't think that should be in our parks, this survey,
Yeah.
right
I don't
now.
think so
There's
either.
too many unknowns on that.
So we'll just leave it to Pines and the water tower property.
Yep.
Okay.
I realized I said we should cut questions, but could we add? Do you have interest in a dog park? If so, at what park would you like it, like Grace?
Or can we
Pines?
add it to existing question?
I mean, I thought we've already kind of talked about, in general terms, the dog park is going to be the water tower park, along with the senior
Honestly,
activity.
we already know that there's a demand, because we've
Yep, yep.
asked, did
All right,
they ask?
We had that survey, I think we had that survey before,
we
yeah.
could include dog walking or,
As a recreational
Yes.
activity.
There you go.
yeah, so,
Okay.
Dog
yeah.
parks in Mary's County.
We know dogs rule, but cats really rule.
yeah,
I want a cat.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yes, I want a cat.
I think if the township or the Parks Commission has already kind of decided on where that there's a demand for it, and where you would like to have it, I'm hesitant to open it up to all the parks, because
Right.
then people will say, you
Yeah.
didn't listen to where I wanted it.
Right, how come it's not at Grace? Oh, what else could we stick at Grace?
Right,
already-
so unless you
No.
were trying to decide on two different locations, we
Yes.
could help narrow it down.
Agreed.
But I just don't want to get into that part of it.
And you know what? I mean, you can ask Beth what she thinks, but I think we already have it given. We know there's a demand and need for that dog park, and we're probably pretty determined at the power, or at the water tower.
yeah.
So I don't know where we want to go with seeing if there's, because we already know there's a want of that, if that's even necessary.
Yeah.
I'm trying to meddle if there's already-
This has been talked for the last
You know, so
two.
to keep things simple,
Yeah,
I guess
Although I
to keep
do-
things simple.
Can you describe me where this water tower is?
Hammond 5 Mile,
The water tower.
The
You
water
can see
tower,
the big
Hammond and
blue
5
water
Mile.
tower?
look this,
You
Yeah.
can see it when
Okay.
you're on Hartman.
All those old orchards?
When you're on Hartman? No, I don't.
no, as you're
Going
heading
to
towards,
Timber Ridge, if you're going to
If you're-
Timber Ridge,
if you're heading
Yeah.
heading east
East on-
Hammond
on
East.
Hammond towards Timber Ridge.
Go
at
past
5
5 Mile and it's right there.
It's right on the left-hand side,
And-
across from those apartments.
So, a lot, 80 or more. But
not sure there's
the
80.
thing is that property is the township
less than
property, so whatever we put there, as we would do portable, you know, that if we have to vacate that property,
for water and sewer infrastructure.
just, you know, that it would be, whatever we put there would not be a permanent, but it might be a permanent.
Okay. Any other questions that you think that we're missing, or you've talked about and we need to explore?
I think it's good, because then you're getting into, it's going to get too long.
Yeah,
I'd say 80, no way.
Yeah, 30.
okay.
And
Is it 80? Is it 80
30,
acres?
30.
Oh, 30, yeah, I didn't think it was anywhere near,
And
I was like 40.
what,
That's cool, though. I didn't know that.
and how is this going to get out there to the?
So we would put a link on the website, and I need to talk with Beth about distribution, if we would do a separate postcard mailing with the link on it, or if there's another opportunity to, pair it up with something else. So that part, I don't have an answer for you right at the
Maybe
moment.
the next quarterly newsletter?
Yeah, I don't know if they do them quarterly or with the tax bill, so that's not till
It's
July.
not quarterly.
You only do them twice a year?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they did them quarterly. Oh.
Yeah, so,
We could do I like the postcard mailing, but also if you created a QR code,
Yeah.
we could all have it on our phones at the sledding party
Right.
and be like, hey, would you be interested to scan it?
Yeah.
And it opens it up, and then when you get home, could you do?
yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a sledding party.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and I mean, I guess we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but I guess that's the next item, though. I was thinking that if it worked out that way, we could have little printouts even, you say, here's a survey, here's a
Yeah.
QR code,
And
here's
so
a link.
what is the final intent? what is hoping to be seen from this?
Well, we're going to get the input from this that's going to inform the park and rec plan. If we get some information, it may lead us to some sort of a open house or an additional community engagement opportunity in the spring, summer for the park and rec plan. So I don't know exactly, depending on the results of what come out of it, will tell us where we need to move forward and what we need to work on further.
Yeah, because I think we have to redo or update our parks plan this year, by
That's what we're
the
working
end of
on.
this year, so.
Right, that's what this right here is, the
Okay.
start of that, to get that information.
So this would probably help guide us to
Oh, yeah.
determine like focus groups and stuff.
Yeah, if we need to, get any more information, if there's anything different than what's in the current plan, that we need to get more information, if it's
Very good.
affirming what we've already have in our plan. So, this is kind of the first step in that, so that we can get it done by the end of the year. So.
Okay.
And then just demographic information at the end there, just so that we can get some information. I looked it up. It says that the estimated time to answer the survey is 12 minutes. So that's pretty good. I have a 80-question survey I've been trying to cut for 3 months, and I can't get the community to cut it, so I appreciate
80, who in their right
I
mind is going
know.
to answer an
I-
80-question survey?
I know.
Someone who loves where they
I mean, the
live.
people that utilize the park, I feel like a 12-minute survey would,
Right.
Be acceptable,
yeah.
Yeah.
And we can put a
People
QR
that
code.
don't use the parks aren't gonna,
aren't going to spend the time.
they're not gonna.
We'll put a QR code too, like on the bulletin boards, like
Yep.
Grace McDonald, Holiday, any of them that have a spot, or if there's some sort of even like a little trail, it's something we can put a little flyer there for users, and, so we'll push it out in various ways, for that component. So is everybody comfortable with a couple of changes, that if we do have the sledding party, I could make it live for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Any other comments on the survey?
Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. So sledding party plans is the next
Yep.
item.
All right, so, last item,
No, we have another one after that.
That
We have
tart trail
to
we
make
added.
approval.
Yeah.
We just have to.
oh,
make a
sorry,
motion and
yes,
approval.
we added the TART agreement, sorry.
Yeah, so the sledding party, we agreed on February 4th from 1 to 3, and we kind of just said, stay tuned so that we can reschedule as necessary. I think last time, did you tentatively schedule it for the next weekend if it was canceled, or did you not get that far into it? Does anybody remember?
And I think we just scheduled it, and if there was no snow, we were done, because it got to be
I
too
mean-
complicated.
Yeah.
We can try to, but
Right.
notifying everyone,
Well, I think we're going to get a winter storm here Thursday.
Didn't it
so-
already go out in the,
Yeah, it was in the
Yes.
newsletter thing.
was there an alternate weekend? No?
Nope, it just said
Okay.
pay attention to the website.
Yeah, okay.
So, so I guess at this point, the township's going to have hot chocolate, coffee available at, to interact. We'll have the QR codes for the survey available. And we are collecting books for the little libraries also. Is
Oh,
there
nice.
anything additional that you would want? We kind of talked about, well, Beth and I talked about, we could do some sort of an easel that would have something on it, that you would put like a poster on, 24 by 36. If you wanted to, we could put the survey information, on there, just in bigger,
I
when we're doing
think,
a
yeah,
survey.
I think the easel with, maybe like the warming hut stuff, the survey,
I was thinking community garden, the two drawings.
yeah,
that
just
we
some of the
have,
key things we're working on,
And get
just
some input there.
just so, some people may have not know about all that stuff, so just
Right.
kind of make them aware,
Like what we're working on,
Yeah.
type of thing, poster?
projects.
Well, I would like the community garden, both the big first original one that was poo-pooed because of the money amount, and then his new updated version, just to show them that this is current, because we are working on this community garden for now since 2018.
And that might be more of a focus group survey.
I think,
Well, that's going to be a different survey, I guess. That's what we sort of.
It'd be pretty detailed, because you're
I'm
gonna
not
wanna
looking for
know.
a survey, I'm just looking to show them that
Show off what
we have designs for the community garden. And if that's an appropriate thing, I have easels, but I don't have the drawings, not unless I did.
I don't know how detailed we
I
want
guess I
that.
could do my sheet.
Get the word out with press releases and such.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if we should put a question on here on whether or not they are an East Bay Township resident.
Yeah, I think one of the questions, because I looked at that after we were talking.
That's on there. Yeah, it's on there.
19.
Yeah,
It's on the, back.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I was thinking the question wasn't there either when we were talking, and so I flipped through, and I think this one addresses that.
Yeah. So the sledding party last year, I remember we had like little postcards. What was that for? Was that the QR code for something? What was that? I remember we had these little handouts.
I can't
We had
remember.
little handouts at the sledding party,
We had like, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 little,
something for Arbutus 5.
I can't remember. I just remember there were little handouts we had.
Oh,
I
they
thought
were-
we did
they were-
something for a
they were
survey there,
picture-
too.
Weren't they do we have to get released for pictures?
Oh,
That
that's
was,
what-
you were doing
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
No, I remember there was these little kind of postcards that we were handing out.
I don't recall.
I don't remember that. I was too
Were we
busy
directing
sliding.
them to the artist? We didn't have this Arbutus 5 survey.
Well, I think we could do the easel, I mean, if we do some sort of a postcard with the survey QR code on it, we can throw something on the back that can inform, or just direct them to the township website, which we'd need to update a little bit, but, on what projects working
You
on.
could almost just print that QR code on a recipe card or something
Right.
like that and hand that out.
But you don't need to hand it out, you just need to have it available. People just have to snap it.
Yeah, there you go.
But if they want to take it home with them instead of
Yeah,
doing
instead
it
do the
there.
survey right then.
But for the, like a bigger board, I guess it would just be kind of an overview of some of the projects we're working on. I don't know, I don't want it to be full-blown, like, I don't know how many you want to have, so I agree the community garden is great to get that out there, and especially if we are going to follow up, I know the survey is going to be directed towards individuals that took the first survey. It's not going to be a push out to the general public, but if people want to become more involved in the community garden, this is a way to kind of inform
And
them. that it's working.
I personally, we put a lot of work in since 2018, and actually before, that they should be shown both versions.
Well, I think.
And talked
I think
about.
the sledding party, we just want an overview. These are the projects. It's not comparison between just the community garden that we were going to work on that in the focus groups.
So maybe it's even projects we're working on, but, it's your priority list,
Yeah.
because warming hut's on your priority list, the community garden, Arbutus
they're in the
5
top
is on
3.
there. The Park and
These are
Rec
just the
update.
projects that we're currently working on.
Right.
And then just kind of quick overview. We don't want to, I guess, don't start a debate if we want.
I'm over debates at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good just to inform, these are the projects
Yeah.
we're working on.
I think that's our whole
Yep.
point of the sliding party, was just to kind of showcase what we're doing.
Something else.
How to get
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
Something to just identify who we are.
We all had lanyards
They want
last.
to engage.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten one yet.
No, they handed, whoever,
Yeah,
somebody
we-
came and
then we
handed them
get
out there.
Yeah, it's like name tags or picture, our
Yeah.
pictures with our names up there, just so they know, like, oh, he's on the commission. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
talking about this thing, or
That could be
Yeah.
on the easel, just naming a picture and.
they might engage this more.
Yep, okay. So we'll be in communications about if this is going to happen or not before the
Yeah.
event, so
Is there like a blurb on the website right now that says coming
not sure.
soon? Okay.
I'll double check.
But I guess if there's no snow, that's just a good assumption that it's been canceled,
Right,
so.
yep.
Wagon.
But we'll confirm,
Classy.
so, and if as, as Parks Commission members, if you can attend the whole time, a part of the time, anything, that would be great.
I'll be there the whole time, but I might be sledding. if we get snow.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah, I'll be ripping them.
Sue was like sledding queen last year.
Oh, but I have my correct sled. I got it 2 days after. It's from
kidding.
that vacation, Christmas vacation,
Yeah, yeah,
the round saucer.
Oh, yeah. Did you
Put
put
some
Crisco
Pam
on,
on
oh,
it?
did you put
I have one
industrial
now.
strength grease on the bottom of
Trust
it?
me, it doesn't
Additive.
need much, because it has a mind of its own.
Food enhancer,
I'm
food
just in
additive,
its
food
way.
enhancer, whatever that was.
And sitting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, should I put some grease on it?
Grace McDonald sledding party.
Is it on the
Parks
website?
Commission- Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Parks Commission will be hosting a community sledding party complete with hot cocoa and coffee Saturday the 4th from 1 to 3. This is weather dependent, so keep checking eastbaytownship.org for updates. Bring your sled and have some fun, and then there's a picture.
Does it, where does it talk about bringing books for the,
It was in the newsletter.
Okay.
It isn't on that part of it.
Well, we could update the website, right?
yeah, maybe it needs,
Sarah?
maybe we need to
Aren't you doing
include,
that?
include the little books then after that, or that we're seeking
Yep.
donations for the little library books.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
Is someone already in charge of picking up the coffee and hot cocoa cups?
Yes.
Okay,
Beth says that she has everything handled.
awesome.
I can't, I think like Tracy did it last year, just,
Yeah, Sarah, or, Garland, yeah, Sabrina. I was gonna say Stacy, Sabrina, she made the arrangements, though. She had it, but
I think Tracy
brought
Bartlett,
it out.
yeah, she brought it out, because Zach and I brought it back here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so it sounds like we got everything covered for the sledding party.
Okay.
Weather dependent, we'll determine if we want to reschedule or just call it
We
a
do.
wash.
Yeah.
There's not enough weekends in a,
I know,
No.
I think
Left
it's
in the
too
winter.
complicated to reschedule,
Yeah.
because how are we gonna?
Right.
Yep.
It says it right there.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then we'll just
Weather.
keep you
Right.
updated, so we
Right.
need to make sure we keep it updated.
right.
All right. Last thing now. 9E, we got to, I think, approve the Tart Trail snow clearing agreement. I think that's a $5,000 cost to the township to do all the snow maintenance.
And it was budgeted for, that's already.
Yes, yeah,
5,000 was, we upped the budget.
yeah. And it's for the 2022, 2023 season.
It should be 23, 24.
22, 23, it says.
22, 23 is what it says.
Well, yeah. Sorry. I'm like already, 22 is way behind us. Yep, you're right.
So-
Leave
Yeah.
the status
So we got-
I'm sorry.
We have-
Those 2 snowstorms we had.
Yes, sorry, yes.
So we're agreeing to approve this budget of $5,000 for those costs. If we don't use those costs, we just, I think, roll it into next year.
They kept it, I think, for the next year up or something. I don't think they
We-
reimbursed back, because once we
Okay.
didn't use all that money, they just came off the following year, or the next year up.
Okay.
Is that what they do? They just roll it over if it's not all used?
If I remember right.
Because 21, 22, we didn't use it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm sure they just rolled it over. so.
And this year, it's looking like we're probably not gonna use that, even though we upped.
Well,
Up
we
to,
did have
but-
that snowstorm, and I think we were above average in snow. I can't say that we
That's
are
true, we
anymore.
are.
13 inches.
We are above average.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
that was only
storms.
6 days of snow clearing, and then it was all gone.
Just to clarify, we usually spend $4,000, and it's increased 1,000, so we're approving a $1,000 increase, covering the $1,000,
Right.
correct?
But it's a total
Of
of 5.
5,000.
Yeah, yep.
And typically, we always approve this because it's huge that they take care of it, and we're not part of
Yeah.
maintaining that, so it's in our benefit as a township.
And I thought we had already approved it, or did we just approve the budget for it? You know what I
I
mean?
think it was just
In
the budget
fall.
for him,
In the
so.
beginning of the fall.
Yeah, so I think you just need a motion to approve the funding of $5,000 for snow removal with TART.
I'll move to cover the $5,000 snow removal costs from Tart Trails.
Support.
It's a roll call vote.
Yep.
All,
Oh,
yeah, all in favor?
aye.
Oh, you got to call
Oh.
each person.
Oh,
Oh.
roll call.
We will.
So-
Oh, roll, sorry.
Yeah,
I will. Andres,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
LaRose, yes. Reardon,
Yes.
Stasinski.
Yes.
Layton.
Yep.
All right, motion passes. All right. Public comment, does not look to be any public left. Upcoming meeting dates, February 21st, 2023.
And I.
Is that a Tuesday?
It
Is
is
it
a Tuesday.
again? Okay.
But I'm not able to attend that meeting because you moved it to a Tuesday and I already had a meeting scheduled that day because of the holiday. So I don't know if you would want to entertain moving it so that I can attend, or if you just want to go forward without me.
I guess, does anyone have any conflict of doing it on the holiday, that Monday?
That President's
Wait, we're
Day?
talking February?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so the 20th is President's Day.
Is the township closed?
Yeah, see, the township is closed.
Yeah, but then Beth
We
said we
could
still could
still-
utilize the
yeah.
facility.
Although
I
we
thought she
did,
was talking about the holiday that hasn't been a township-approved holiday yet.
Oh,
oh, I thought she just meant, it's a holiday, we could still use the township.
I think I'm in the UP that Monday.
Because it's holiday.
On but there's
I mean,
school.
we can.
There's not school that day, is there?
Yes, there is.
Oh, usually that's a 4-day weekend for TCAS.
Sarah, before, are you able to listen to the minutes off the recording?
Yes.
And then do the minutes? I mean, I
Yeah.
can do the minutes,
Right.
myself.
No, I can take care of the minutes still. It would just be, I mean, if you're, right now, I guess, agenda items for that meeting would be, I don't know if Brian will have updates for his
Right.
stuff. I imagine he'll probably need a little bit more time to work through those. And then probably just some sort of planning or thoughts or
What kind of
anything you wanna work on.
availability does this room have throughout the month if we had
Yeah.
to push it back?
We have planning commission, that's the first Tuesday, and then board, which is the first Monday, or I'm sorry, the second Monday.
So the fourth Monday should be available.
Well, the fourth,
Are
oh,
there
yeah,
four
Or
Mondays in
one.
February?
there is.
Yeah?
Yep, the 27th.
Though, if we do this, then we have to make sure the website knows.
Oh,
it
absolutely.
Yeah.
And do all those changes.
Right.
Which I think it's beneficial to have you here at these meetings.
Yeah, I do
Yes,
too.
agreed.
So,
We like you, Sarah, sorry.
yeah, that's my personal opinion.
Right.
You help
Are
us.
you on the township website? Is there anything else on the calendar?
Shoot, I was, is it still, it's still here.
Are you looking at the 27th?
Yeah,
What's Monday? That would be the 27th?
yeah.
I could just make a motion to change the meeting to the 27th, and then we can, if I can get support, we can discuss it, and
Wait, we
can vote
still-
whether or not
Is
to
there
approve it or
any
not.
On the 27th?
It's loading.
Nope, that's January.
Probably not, because that's the last Monday of the month. and
There,
I don't
nope,
think
there's
there is
nothing on
anything.
the,
I think we've done this in the past where we've moved it back a week.
there's nothing planned on there.
I mean, we can move it, and even if there is something, we could use the south.
That's true.
Or the north end.
north room.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I agree.
does everybody work then for February 27th,
Mm-hmm.
6 PM?
I misspoke. That's when I'm in the UP. But I mean, I don't know what the policy is. Apparently you can miss meetings this time.
Yeah, you
Right.
can.
Yeah.
You can.
I mean,
You can be excused,
as long as we have quorum,
yeah.
then we're all set.
Yep.
What if anyone else is gonna miss?
I don't know.
Is quorum's 4?
Or,
Yeah.
You'll still get a copy of the agenda, and if there's anything that you wanted to speak on, you could always write
Right.
to
Yeah,
us
yeah.
to let us know, and we
Yeah.
can read it.
Yeah, right now I don't anticipate anything,
If it's
a heavy
gonna be a light
agenda,
meeting, nice.
yep, with any real action items, I just wouldn't think.
Mondays are getting pretty rough still currently.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we can plan on that. If for some reason your calendar doesn't work out, we'll adjust.
We can then default to the Tuesday without,
Well, we would still have a quorum. We'd still have 4 of us.
yeah.
Right.
Even if both of you could not attend.
Yeah.
Assuming that Sabrina's still gone. I think she's gone for a
Yeah, I
while,
do.
yeah. Not the whole winter, but part of it, yeah.
It's not for lack of not wanting to be here. It's-
No,
Okay.
understood,
Yeah.
understood.
Okay.
All right, so we need to make an emotion to approve that date?
Sure.
Or,
I'll move to change the February 21st 2023 meeting to February 27th, 2023,
At 6 PM.
at 6 PM.
Support. All right,
You'll let Beth know?
Yes.
meeting is adjourned at, is it 8 o'clock? 7:56.
Well, we needed to vote on,
Oh,
I was gonna say,
didn't I support?
it got supported, but I didn't know if we need to.
Oh, the vote on the, changing the meeting?
yeah.
Do you need a roll call on
All
that?
support, don't you?
Well, it was supported, you just
was
need a
supported.
vote.
Okay.
Yep, so,
Can it just be a roll call or all in favor?
all in favor?
All in favor for,
Aye.
Okay.
Any nays?
Now you can adjourn.
right, meeting is adjourned.
Yep, perfect. Thanks for moving that, your meeting.
Roll.
I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Usually it's not an issue,
Yeah.
but,
All right.
You were hoping to get out of it.
yeah.